Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you episode 159 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. So, more Power Rangers movie news. In an interview with Variety, Lionsgate CEO Jon Feltheimer, and I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, was basically quoted as saying, "We are really, really excited about the Power Rangers movie. We could see doing 5 or 6 or 7." Unquote. I will have the link to the Variety article as well as a couple of other sources that are reporting on this. But basically, the CEO of Lionsgate is basically saying that there is the potential for a Power Rangers cinematic universe, if you will. And that's rather encouraging, to be honest, because, guys, I want you to really kind of sit back and objectively look at what he said, because I'm a Power Rangers fan, and I have all the respect in the world for the Power Rangers franchise, for Super Sentai, for everything it's done, everything it stands for, and I'm excited about its future and what it's going to go ahead and be. But from the perspective of somebody who doesn't watch Power Rangers, doesn't understand Power Rangers, and doesn't like Power Rangers, they don't take it seriously. That's unfortunately the truth of the matter. People hear Power Rangers and they don't have the same reaction they have to, say, the Avengers or Justice League or anything relative to that. They just don't have that type of mentality when thinking about it. So he's basically talking about a franchise that has like a niche following, and we are, unfortunately, we're a niche following, can get multiple films within its franchise. And a film that has not been released yet, a film that has been pushed back, has a significant budget now, but was given a lower budget. And from what we know of the movie, I mean, let's do a quick timeline of what we've been talking about the movie. I mean, this is a movie that's already been criticized by some about mixing up the races of the different characters, making Billy black, making Zach Asian. That's been criticized by a number of people out there. And then the reveal of Rita and how people are kind of applauding that. People are talking about whitewashing of Rita Repulsa, and we're also talking about Green Ranger theories when the Green Ranger doesn't even factor into this movie, as far as we can go ahead and tell. And then, of course, the most recent news prior to this, the criticizing of the suits, which we did get some images at the time of this recording. We did have some images basically showing them in at least the Red Ranger in a suit, fighting guys in green suit, which indicate that the putties are going to be CG, and that kind of bothers me. Nevertheless, and again, the news that they've been criticized for the suit. So we're talking about a film that obviously had difficulty in production, difficulty with its funding. It's obviously getting where it needs to be now, which is the good part. Doesn't have a star-studded cast, with the exception of Elizabeth Banks, which, again, that's questionable based on at least my interpretation of her career. And then, of course, it's getting all this different backlash from different areas, and then people who are, of course, not Power Rangers fans just going, why do we need a Power Rangers movie? So with all that in the public consciousness, for the guy to come out and basically saying that they're excited about the movie and that they want to make more movies before the first one is even finished filming, that's a real damn good sign. Just to come out and say that they're excited about the movie. I mean, I don't know what's going on in filming, but people must be, skipping to work and, just, singing and just like, man, this is so awesome. I love working on this film. I don't know, folks. I mean, here's what I'm hoping that this becomes. I really hope this does become the Power Rangers cinematic universe. That we do get something that is on par with what the Marvel Cinematic Universe has become, what the DC Extended Universe is attempting, whether they're making it or not, we're going to go ahead and see about that. What Star Wars is doing with its franchise, with a core movie, and then anthology tales coming out every year. Because do you guys realize that it was not long ago that we actually had Star Wars Episode 7 come out, and now this Christmas we're getting another Star Wars movie? That's insane, okay? But the fact that Power Rangers could be in this same boat, that we can have a yearly release, bi-yearly release, however you want to look at it, or multiple releases within a single year of Power Rangers is just mind-blowing. Because here's the thing. let's take a Star Wars as an example right here. The thing about Star Wars is that when you look at those films, pretty much the core seven films are about the rise, fall, redemption, and legacy of one man, Anakin Skywalker. We see his rise and fall in the prequels. We see, the rise in the prequels, his fall in the sequel, in the original trilogy, excuse me. In the sequel trilogy, which is what we have now, we're seeing what his legacy is. In those films, basically how the universe has become based on him. Those are what the core movies are telling us, and they have to kind of stay strict to that. Even with Rogue One that's coming out, it's staying very close to that because it's got a through line, it's got a particular story, and how the events tie into Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, the Rebellion. All of that's kind of tied in together. Um, but what you get with the potential, or excuse me, actually, let's talk about this real quick. The Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Extended Universe, basically what they have, they also have to be concise because it's not, we're going to get a couple of Captain America movies here and Iron Man movies that are happening in the same universe and maybe another Hulk movie coming out. It's basically the idea that they're interconnecting, that they're flowing together, that they're apart, they come together for Avengers, they flow back apart, they come back for Avengers 2, they flow apart, they come back for Avengers Infinity Wars, and so forth and so forth. That's kind of the model that they have, and it seems we're going to get a similar model with the extended universe where they start out together, they separate, together, separate, so forth. You guys get what I'm trying to say about that, right? Um, but with the Power Rangers, what's really great about this is that the Power Rangers universe, for people who don't really understand, is so rich and intricate with mythos and history and detail and events. And I mean, go to Rovang's website, look at his timeline, look how far back the history of Power Rangers extends. It extends all the way from millions of years ago, which is where the damn timeline starts, all the way up to like 3012, 3013, something like that. I mean, you're literally talking about Power Rangers history that spans millions upon millions of years, and you can tell any story that you want because they can conceivably do seven movies. Let's say they do a total of 8 movies, which is what the potential based on the quote is, that they could do 8 movies on Power Rangers. Now, it is conceivable they can do all Mighty Morphin. You have this Mighty Morphin. This first is an introduction. The second, the stakes get raised. The third, you got the Green Ranger coming in. The fourth, you do Lord Zed. The fifth, you get the Thunder Zords, whatever, and all that. Or you can do anthology films. You could do, this is a Mighty Morphin movie, and the second one's going to be Mighty Morphin as well. Then we decide to do a Wild Force movie. We decide to do a Lost Galaxy movie. We decide to go ahead and do a Dino Thunder movie. You can do any Ranger franchise that you want because you have so many stories and sources to pull from. And could you get together and do an Avengers style type of team up? Conceivably, you could do the Legacy War as a film and actually do it right. That's something you can go ahead and do. But you got so many different possibilities of where you can go. It doesn't have to be a Mighty Morphin movie. It doesn't have to be a Wild Force movie. It doesn't have to be an RPM movie. It could be any Power Rangers movie that you want to go ahead and do, and it can be part of a greater cinematic universe. And to that, I actually do want it to be a cinematic universe and really have the television series separate from itself. Which, I really never would have thought of myself saying that, a few years ago, or even up until recently. But I really kind of think that whatever they're doing with the films really should be separate from the television series. Because let's be honest, no matter what the films are doing, the television series is going to continue. We're going to have Ninja Steel. We're going to have whatever their equivalent of Zoologer is, because I doubt they're going to go ahead and skip that. And we're going to have that continue on for the foreseeable future. But I think the movies are an opportunity to branch away from the Sentai, take your established history and tweak it, modify it, and make it something that I guess would be digestible for the movie going public, for John Q and Billy Joe Sixpack out there, but also expand on it and make it something a little bit richer. And I'm going to go back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, mainly because I just got back from Civil War a few days ago. I finally got a chance to see it. But the thing I kind of like about that is that those films do take all the source material, cherry pick the things that they like, and craft new things into it. It's just finding good words to go ahead and describe exactly what Marvel Cinematic Universe is a little bit difficult, but you guys have all seen the movies. I mean, heck, there are 13 movies in that, and we're talking about Power Rangers doing more than half of that, um, you know, for whatever goal they're trying to go ahead and make. Are they going to tell a consistent story throughout? Or are they going to do multiple stories? But whatever they have the option to do anything they want at this point with the source material. Let's just say, for example, we have a Lost Galaxy movie. We can still do the Terra Venture, looking for a new colony in space. It could be the Power Rangers equivalent to Guardians of the Galaxy, or a new take on Star Wars. SPD, talk about futuristic police and how the world is in the future, and make that into a cop drama movie. Because I do believe it was Captain Logan that said over on his channel, Geekvolution, that in a good superhero movie is inherently something else first before it's a superhero movie, which he's taken some criticism for, and I can see that, but I tend to agree with him, because if you actually look at something like The Dark Knight, as he states in his review of that film, it is a political crime drama first, and then a superhero movie second. And it's the idea that it can span all these different genres, and you have a superhero kind of transplanted into that. And for the example of a Lost Galaxy or SPD film, Lost Galaxy, a space opera with Power Rangers in it. SPD, a crime drama with Power Rangers in it. Mystic Force, a sword and sorcery type of movie with Power Rangers in it. Now, of course, we've moved past Harry Potter and whatnot, but hey, magic movies could be making a comeback. Who knows? It's just that there is so much opportunity here, and I think that's what Feltheimer is saying. I think that's what he's seeing, is that he looks at the Star Wars and the DC and the Marvel franchises and what they've been able to go ahead and accomplish, pulling through all these different sources and history and backstory, and he's like, we have a gold mine here. We have the opportunity to mine it and make these types of films. And I also think that, and it seems to be the direction the films are going. That could be completely wrong by the time the film comes out, but it does seem like they are going for the older, more mature audience. The designs seem a little bit more mature, for lack of a better term, to be honest. Rita seems, the characters seem a little bit more mature. This isn't the people do compare the Power Rangers to the 60s Adam West Batman, which I believe is a false comparison. I don't believe that to be true at all. But if we were to take that comparison, then easily the new Power Rangers movie would be on par with The Dark Knight, that is no longer going to talk down to its audience. It's going to talk on equal footing with its audience. That seems to be the direction they are going. That's the impression that I have based on this, and we'll see where that takes us. The only negatives I can think about this is if they do not choose to go in a cinematic shared universe route. If he's talking about doing, what Sentai does, because here's the thing. What Sentai does with their films is great. It's okay, the theatrical films. But it's not something that I think would fly in the United States. Now, a typical feature ticket here in Japan, at least where I'm living, is about 1,300 yen, so $12 basically, which is relatively, it's a little bit cheaper than back home, to be quite honest. Now, the problem with the Sentai summer releases primarily is that, first of all, they're double billed with a Kamen Rider movie. So you don't go in there to see a 40, 50-minute Sentai movie for $13. No, you go in to see a 30, 40-minute Sentai movie double billed with another film, so you basically get, two movies for the price of one. Which is kind of great in theory, but the film's not 2 hours long. Is it really worth the price of admission? That's something I'm thinking about, because the Zoology movie is going to come out, I think, either next month or the month after, and I'm wondering, do I want to pay $13 to just go see the film, and of course a language I can't fully understand yet, double bill with a franchise I have no interest in? And then we go ahead and talk about the release of the crossover films, which come in Christmas, January time, which are not even full feature length by our standards over here. They are about an hour and a half long. I think there was one that was probably about 2 hours. But it's just, again, questioning the value of that. And if they go by the Sentai formula, say they want to do something where they have a film based on the TV series, which is essentially an extended episode with a bare budget, probably on par to Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, is that something that we want to invest in as fans? Because I see myself doing it, obviously, but I don't see casual fans or even the younger fans doing it. Because, okay, again, from the marketing perspective of Dino Charge, who's the audience? It is children, unfortunately. Okay, so they're marketing towards children. Can you market a Dino Charge movie that, say, comes out on hiatus and is, about an hour and a half long, that may or may not tie into the series directly? Because, of course, the thing is about the films here is that they are shown as, oh, there are plot points and things in this movie that will later appear in episodes, which, is kind of unfair because us in the West, we don't get a chance to see those films. So by the time those plot points become relevant in the series, we don't have a translation in time for to find out. Like Topa Spino from Kyoger, that was introduced in the movie. Daigo's girlfriend and so forth, who appear in an episode, but a lot of us didn't get a chance to see that movie, or at least have a translated version of that movie available to us to understand what those important plot points were, especially when D shows up and we have no idea who that is. Now I'm getting on a tangent here about those films. But what I'm saying is, I don't think it is smart at this time, unless there is success in what I'm calling the PRCU. But there is success in that to do a tie-in, because what I really hate about what's going on with Dino Charge right now, or Dino Supercharge, is this extended hiatus. It's really driving me bonkers. I don't think it's smart now to have the first half go on hiatus, have a film in the hiatus, and then come back to the series. Because unless it is a substantial full 2 hour movie that's a game changer that changes the status quo, I don't particularly see people going to see it. Because look at the last two Power Rangers movies. We did have one that changed the status quo but was set in an entirely different universe from the TV series, and then we had a film that did lead into the next season. Now, of course, if you want to start doing films that do start with the Power Rangers, getting new powers, what if the film is, a basic setup to, say, it's a Ninja Steel movie, and then for continuing adventures, watch the series, or vice versa, do it as, hey, here's the series, and then the final climax is the film itself. To find out what happens on Ninja Steel, go to the movies, kids. It's just gonna be an odd prospect, and I just don't see Americans shelling out that money for a continuation of the television show at this time. Because if you were gonna do a Power Rangers movie based on a TV show, it has to be a team up event. It has to be a larger than life type of event. To get us in there, because again, the last two films, both changes in the status quo, or the base of the movies, transitioning from season 2 to 3, and Zeo the Turbo. Again, one not fully counting. Uh, these films either have to be transitional or something that you would not be able to do on the television series whatsoever, such as a crossover, with 5 or 6 different teams, or a legacy war type event. That's I'm worried that they would take the Sentai model and go in that direction, because it's just not going to work for the United States. You need to have these films that are standalones and self-contained and part of a shared universe, to where the Mighty Morphin Rangers are over here doing their thing, Time Force Rangers are over here doing their thing, and of course the Ninja Storm Rangers are doing their thing over here. And it is going to be difficult, again, because unlike superhero comics, which are retconned, like every other year, basically saying that, oh yeah, Batman's parents were killed about the same time that, Clark came to Earth, and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's that stuff that's always retcon. It would be interesting to see what they do for a retcon for Power Rangers, because, again, Time Force is specifically based in 2001. SPD is specifically a future show based in 2025. And there are a number of other shows that are based significantly on their timelines, and when events take place, creative liberties, you can make those types of changes. Heck, you could do the fourth Power Rangers movie and make it a countdown to destruction film, which again, that's what they're doing with the Marvel movies and what they did with Batman Superman. Batman Superman is essentially an amalgam of the death of Superman and the Dark Knight Returns. It's those two comics both combined into a singular movie. And you could conceivably do that within Power Rangers. Ultimately, what I'm getting to is I am excited at the prospect because it seems that the CEO is taking it seriously, that the production staff is taking it seriously. That's why they're given extra time to work on the film. That's why they're given a bigger budget in succeeding months. They seem to be really interested in making this movie, and it seems like they're genuine and wanting to make more Power Rangers movies. And I just hope that they will look at the success of the Marvel Extended Universe. Look at, I'm not going to say the failure, but the stumbling blocks that the extent DC Extended Universe is coming to, and kind of wait and see what happens with Star Wars with its anthology films. I think we got to go from those templates. We have to see what works and what doesn't work. And ultimately, I want to be here talking to you guys about the new trailer that released for Power Rangers 8. Which would technically be Power Rangers 10 if you count the previous movies, but of course, we'd be in a new continuity, so I guess the number system would start over again. So there we are. What do you guys think about the idea of having 8 Power Ranger movies? Should be a shared universe. Should be an anthology series of some kind. Should it be it should basically be a tie-in to the television series, or should it stand on its own as part of a cinematic universe? Let me know what you guys decide. Leave the comments below and let me know. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys for listening. Have a good evening, and the tavern is now closed.